What's going on, Uber Nation? So in the recent weeks, my two buddies and I have decided to start a podcast. Some of you may have heard about it on Twitter. It's called the Throwing Shade Pod, and it's with my buddy Andy and Brett. And some of you guys may know Brett as TDBarrett, a pretty big YouTuber in the MLB The Show and Madden and 2K community. So we started this podcast. It's based on gaming, sports, life. I mean, we talk about all kinds of stuff. And I have yet to post an episode on this channel. And it's kind of my turn now. We are 4 episodes in. So I encourage you guys to check us out on iTunes. We're pretty much on all your favorite podcast apps if you have some of those, whether it's Android or Apple. So we are on iTunes. Just look up Throwing Shade Pod. I'm going to put the link in the description below as well. I'm also going to put TD's link for his channel, so make sure to subscribe to him. And let me know in the comments below if you guys would like to see more of these episodes. Pretty much we record Sundays and Wednesdays, so there's going to be 2 episodes a week for now. We're just kind of testing the waters and see if we get any traction, if you guys enjoy that kind of talk. So without further ado, here is the latest episode. Enjoy, guys. Until next time, I'm out. Mahalo.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 4 of the Throwing Shade podcast. I am joined, as always, by Daniel Basil, aka the UberYouTuber, and Andy, aka Adub, I believe is his new YouTube name, but we'll talk about that later. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Brett. Yeah, glad to be here. Episode 4. Slowly but surely, we're getting it together here, seemingly. Hopefully, for many more episodes to come. How you guys doing today?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Thanks again for coming back and listening. Been a pretty good first 3 shows here, and hopefully number 4 is even better.
Yeah, I have a good feeling about tonight. I have a good feeling about this show, and to get things started, this is a topic that I think a lot of people will be pretty interested in. We've all played the majority of sports games,
Yeah,
I would assume,
absolutely.
right?
Definitely.
Yeah. And in every one of those games, there's always a dominant player on each one of them. And I want to go through the major, 5. I wrote down 5 games, and for each one, I want us all to kind of share, if you have one, a story of the most dominant player, which year it was, and what made him so dominant. So we're gonna start off with Madden. And Uber, I know you played a lot of MUT last year. Who was the most dominant player, or in the history since you've been playing Madden? What's the most dominant player you've ever had?
Okay, so I got 2 guys here. I've played Madden for a really long time, mostly casual, nothing like you did, Brett. Pretty competitively a few years back. But back in maybe 10 years, 2004, I believe, Michael Vick was absolute.
Oh yes, I had a feeling that was going to come up. I had a feeling
he was unstoppable. And me being a Falcons fan, it was awesome. It was perfect to have Michael Vick in the game, and me actually having an excuse to be able to use him rather than just being a complete fanboy. So Michael Vick was that for a really long time, and then last year I got really into MUT. And I would have to say Bo Jackson was that guy last year for me. Bo Jackson was absolutely insane. They had a 99 overall legend Bo Jackson card that came out, and he would just, speed, trucking ability. He would just plow people over. I used to have this thing on my stream where I would always try to hurdle people. And, 70% of the time it would end up in a fumble, but those 30%... Those 3 out of 10 hurdles where I actually clear the defender were phenomenal. So Bo Jackson, Michael Vick for me, those 2 guys are absolutely OP in Madden all time. What about you, Andy?
I personally don't have much experience playing Madden, so I'm gonna pass this one over to Brett. I'm sure he's got some real good picks.
Perfect. I have a few. I want to touch on Uber, though. I remember when Daniel was trying to get that Bo Jackson card. I'm pretty sure he sold everything he owned to get that thing.
Everything I owned. Everything.
He sold his team. He sold his
car. Maybe a motorcycle.
He sold his TV. He started playing on one of those 9-inch plasma TVs. Sold his big TV. Daniel did everything he could to get that Bo Jackson card. I think he really appreciated when it happened.
Absolutely. And you know what? On that note, shout out to Chino for helping me with whatever he could to help me get that card. And may I throw out there, I did get. They had that Christmas kind of special solo events last year. I don't know if you guys remember that, or solo challenges where they actually had elves in the game. There were these tiny little elves.
I remember that.
And
I remember that.
I tried to hurdle one of those elves with Bo Jackson and absolutely got annihilated. The elf hit stick me so hard. Bo Jackson fumbled the ball and got destroyed. So that was like one of the lasting moments for me in Mud last year. It's pretty fun.
So
I loved watching your streams. But yeah, I'll get into my player now. I would say, going back, it's got to be... I myself, too, I don't want to say the same thing, but the first Madden I ever played was actually Madden 04. And my dad bought it for me. We went to EB Games, and we picked it up. I think it was a couple years old, though, because we never bought the games when they first came out. And I'd use Michael Vick, too, and I remember my dad hating playing me in that game. He was kind of like the classic, dad playing Madden where he, knew about real football. He didn't really understand much about, and I'd snap the ball, and I'd sprint to the left, and I'd run with Michael Vick. And I remember him asking my cousin, calling my cousin and being like, how do I stop Michael Vick? And my cousin tried to explain, a defensive set to him.
Just has to phone a friend.
So that's in the past. Yeah, he used his phone a friend in that situation.
That's not even a proper zone blocking scheme they're running here.
Yeah, but and then I'd say Madden 12 and stuff. What was my best year? I think Madden 25 was my best year. Chris Johnson.
Yes.
Being a Titans fan, Chris Johnson was the card for me. I loved that card. He'd have 99 speed, not very good trucking, but amazing juke. I'd hit the toss to the outside with Chris Johnson. And that was my card
Those
in Madden.
Jukes were insane.
I never wanted to stop using him. He was literally the best card in the game. Every franchise I went into, first pick in the draft, had to go get Chris Johnson. Lately, I don't know. I guess they always have, Mutt's kind of ruined the overpowered card because they actually have cards that are 114 speed with 310 trucking rating. And it's okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. But back before Mutt and stuff, Chris Johnson definitely was the guy. But let's move on to the next game because we have a couple of these. And this one I have none that I can really share. I don't know if I know Daniels actually has played NHL. So both of you guys should have a player for NHL.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy? So I remember back in, 2009. NHL 09. And this is going to sound ridiculous, but the most unbelievable player in that game played on the Ottawa Senators. It was Antoine Vermette. He was a nobody, but he was small and so fast, and they made him so stocky that you couldn't hit him off the puck. So I would purposely take penalties, so he would go out on the penalty kill, and he would just get breakaways. He was unstoppable. For some reason, he was better than the top players in the game, the Ryan Getzlaffs, the Corey Perrys, Joe Thorntons, things like that, just because of his speed. I don't know what happened when they were creating the game, but he was unbelievable. And now, as soon as they got to NHL 15, 16, they started, like you say, in Madden, Brett, they were talking, all the players are they're so even. It's so hard to, sure, there's dominant players, but they have versions of the game now where it doesn't matter if it's a dominant player or not, they don't stand out. So
that's a great point there, and that actually is as a part of what I feel NHL is lacking a little bit. The differentiation, that's a tough word for me, between great players and just okay players. Yeah. I feel like they don't stand out as much as they should, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great point there.
You get a fourth line player playing against, you take Pittsburgh and you're the best player in hockey at this point as Sidney Crosby, and you can't get around a third-rate defenseman that's been called up and down from the AHL this season. And that just
Right.
like matchups like that, they don't make sense. Like if you were to challenge NHL to do one thing, it would be start making those dominant players more dominant in the game somehow.
Right.
So that's
right. Absolutely.
What about you? You've got some history playing NHL. What are your thoughts on it?
So I'm going to go, obviously Crosby has been kind of OP. Ovechkin was pretty OP for a few years. Still very good. Now I'm going to go way back, probably showing my age a little bit here. NHL 95.
Holy
God.
man.
I
How
think
old are you?
it may have been the second one, the second ever NHL on EA Sports. I think 94 was the first one, but I could be wrong. But 95, Wayne Gretzky was unbelievable. He was pretty much the Bo Jackson of Tecmo Bowl, where you could just zigzag your way through the ice and just hit a little slap shot and it would go in 9 out of 10 times. So he was very OP. That's the first name that came to my mind. So I just went with that. There's been plenty since then, but
so
Wayne's
was
the guy.
this in 95? You would have been playing on your computer where you just the right click on the mouse was pass and the left click was shoot, or
Actually, so I played it on the Sega Genesis.
oh, very old school.
I played it. Yes, I played it on the Sega Genesis. I think it was also available on the Super Nintendo, maybe, in that day. I think it was Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I played it on the Sega, so the gamepad or the pad definitely helped. I don't know if I could have played that game on the mouse. That would be interesting, though. I don't know how that would control. They did have it on the PC. I know.
Yeah,
that.
I remember NHL 96 was the first NHL game I ever played, and it was on the PC. And that was how you played. You used the mouse to skate, and right click was pass, and left click was shoot, and that game would keep me entertained for hours.
I believe it.
Yeah. All right, Brett.
Right on.
Absolutely.
You guys ready to move on?
Yeah, man.
That was some good NHL talk, though. I learned a lot. I was born in '96.
You're so young.
If that puts things into perspective, wow. So you have been playing games a long time, Dan.
Yeah, I really. Yeah, I have been.
Yeah, absolutely. Since the Stone Age.
Okay, so the next is NBA, and I'll start off with this one. I'll tell you guys about my. So NBA, I'd have to say, obviously being a Canadian and a Raptors fan, Terrence Ross in those NBA games. He's like a backup. He's a bench player. He started for a bit for the Raptors, but he won the dunk contest, so he had one of the best dunking ratings in the game, and he is an amazing 3-point shooter. So when I played in the last couple of years, I haven't played a ton of NBA. I'm just recently kind of getting more into it. But that, I'd say, is the most overpowered player I've ever played with. He was ridiculous. You couldn't stop him. In the fast break, he got the most insane dunking animations. But that was my NBA guy. What about you, Daniel?
I like that pick, Terrence Ross. I played with him quite a bit, too. He's got roots in Portland. He's from Portland, so I always kind of followed his career. And he's got two things you want in video games. He could shoot a three, and he could dunk, right? So that made him kind of a sought-after commodity. So that's a good pick. I like that. So for NBA,
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Right now, to me, I mean, Steph Curry, he's super overpowered right now in 2K. You can honestly, I think, maybe not half-court shots, but you can hit those shots between the half-court line and the three-point line. And I don't think I've ever seen a player be able to hit those shots in any video game.
As consistently,
right? I mean, even if it's 5 out of 10, he's hitting them. That's still a better clip than anybody I've seen ever playing the video game. So to me, it's Steph Curry right now. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I mean, when they obviously put that many statistics into one player, like it's hard not to call him the best player in the game, right? Like you say, it's just consistency with him. Like you shoot, there's an extremely good chance, whether you're a good gamer or a bad gamer, that you're gonna sink your shot. So that's I definitely agree. And Brett, what's next on the docket?
So next was FIFA, but I don't think, have you ever played FIFA?
Just
Andy?
2015.
Just 2015. Oh, so you guys might actually. Daniel, do you want to start off with a quick player for FIFA? I'm guessing. Can I guess who you're going to say? Is it Messi? Lionel Messi?
That's a pretty good guess. I'm
Is it, how do you pronounce it? Lionel? Is it Lionel?
I think it's Lionel. Lionel? Maybe.
Lionel? Okay.
Lionel Messi? I think. I could be wrong.
I think you guys are both making that up, but all right, move on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's right up there. He's right up there. You can dribble with him like crazy. I mean, he's just he may be the best ever. He may be better than Pelé in real life, and so obviously you got to reflect that in the game as well. Ronaldo's up there, but I'm going to give you guys another name here. A guy you may have not heard about, but some of you soccer fans probably know about him. His name is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And he is, for the last 2-3 years, he's pretty much the FIFA version of Chris Johnson in those years that you were speaking of earlier, Brett. His speed, he's probably the fastest soccer player in the world. And so they have his speed at like 99, I think, in FIFA, which is the highest there is. And they call speed pace in FIFA. It's kind of a different category, but same idea. And he is just super cheesy to play with. He's super fast. He's a striker, so he's a goal scorer. So he's pretty good at making goals as well. Right. So you can just kind of take the ball with him midfield and just kind of out dribble everybody and outpace everybody and score a lot of goals with him. So that's kind of my pick right now for the last 2 years as being the super OP player in FIFA.
And I personally don't think that I had a real, any standout dominant players from 15. I know teams, like if you pick Germany or England, things like that, like you dominated no matter what. I was looking at some statistics from 2017, and actually Ronaldo is ranked number 1 in that game. He is ranked ahead of Messi, which I found really interesting. But yeah, like I said, not a lot of experience with FIFA. I do really enjoy it. I just haven't had a lot of time playing the game.
Right on. Okay, well, let's move on to NBA Live. And I got to talk. So, Uber, I watched your video with JJ Reddick.
Oh, yes.
I did. And your shot timing needs work,
Yeah, it's
man.
rough.
Oh, that hurts.
It is rough.
Yep. I'm with you.
You're all team, no timing. I played that game with like 81 overall guys, and I'm shooting higher percentages. So I want to hear, do you have a defense for me on that? Why? Like, is it something to do with your thumb? Why are you so far off the green?
So I'm getting a little ambushed here. I wasn't expecting this kind of attack on the program today. Shots fired here, came out of left field. However, I really don't have a defense. I have nothing. I'm hit or miss on those. I'm really hit or miss.
Well, you're hit if you have like a 98 3-point shooter, but you're missed with anybody else because you're always a little bit low of the green thing.
And that's why I'm the world's okayest gamer. I'm just a little bit off and just okay. You know what I mean? I'll get the +6 boost on the shot time, but I won't get the perfect release. You know what I mean? And that makes me the world's okayest gamer. I'm just trying to stay true to that.
I am going to say, from my time knowing you, I'm starting to notice that you are exceptionally great at being average.
I excel at that. Some would say I just excel at being just okay.
Of being average, and I'm a big fan of that. Like I like that. I think in this week coming up, we might have to play each other in some NBA Live because I have a team with really low statistics, but my release is right on the money.
So we'd probably match up great. It would make for a great game.
It would be a battle for sure.
I remember when me and Daniel were... what day was it? Was that day 2 of E3 when we saw the world's okayest gamer t-shirt?
Yes, I think so. I think it was.
And you didn't buy it. The guy didn't buy it. There was a line.
I felt it was perfect for me, and I don't know. I should have bought it.
No, the reason is because there was a line, and now thinking back, it doesn't seem ridiculous. Like, how cool would it have been if you had that t-shirt right now?
It's so fitting. So fitting.
It is so fitting. Okay, but now let's get to the after the quick roast of Daniel Basil and his shot timing. I just wanted to add that in. That was not planned. I just kind of thought about it. But who is your most overpowered player in NBA Live? Like, who can you actually make shots with?
Who can I actually make? Okay, so Steph Curry's right up there once again, but I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to go with a recently acquired player in Manute Bol. The tallest NBA player to ever play in the NBA, I believe. It may be a tie. I know Sean Bradley was up there as well, 7'7".
Yeah, Bradley's tall. I recently did a video on it, and Bradley's up there, but I don't know. I think he was 7'6".
Maybe.
I want to say Bradley was because Manute Bol is not in. He's not in NBA 2K17.
Okay, but yeah, NBA Live Mobile brought him as a legend, which is awesome. And his defense is amazing. He's got like 93 defense. I mean, he's just blocking shots left and right. So that's a game changer on the defensive end. And then he's got a 60 overall 3-point rating, which is actually really good. If you compare that to Boogie Cousins, he has like a 25 3-point rating. So 60 is actually pretty good. And that goes back to the Don Nelson era when Bol played for the Warriors. Nelson actually had him shooting threes, which is insane. His form on that shot was absolutely atrocious. And only Don Nelson would make him shoot those kind of shots. But I had to have him, and I finally packed him. He's really expensive on the auction house, so I was super cheap. I didn't want to buy him, and I finally got him in a pack, so I was super stoked to get him. And so far, I've played a few games with him. He's super overpowered. He can hit 3-pointers. He's dunking on people. He looks... he looks like a cheat code. He looks twice the size of Steph Curry when he's out there on the court. So Manute Bol's it for me.
All right, fair.
And Andy, I would ask you, but you recently told us about your team, and I don't know if there's much overpoweredness.
Actually,
on that
I
team.
have an 83 overall, and I'm really excited about it because, unlike my man Daniel here, this is all hard-earned. This is all hard-earned players here. It's not bought, so
bust.
Oh, no money spent.
I am working the grind here, guys, and I'm starting to get a little bit of rewards for it. So
I can respect that.
I'm actually pretty shocked, Daniel, that you didn't take Luke Babbitt as your favorite. I thought for sure you were going with him.
I think we all did.
Yeah, like the guy's a stud, and that hair, like it doesn't get much better than Luke Babbitt. That's my personal opinion, but
it's a personal thing. It's personal between Luke and I. You guys know that.
There's a little.
There's some animosity. There's some bad blood.
Slight bit of bitterness there. Yeah.
Yes, a little bit.
Okay, so before we get into the real sports talk, there's a few topics in regards to YouTube that I want to talk about with you guys. So the first, I want to tell everybody a little bit of a story before we get into Andy's channel of how hard it was. Because you guys see Uber, you see him smiling in his car, you see him recording 4 videos a day, but you don't understand how hard it was to get him to start making videos. And Uber, so there's a thing called a banner, and that's what goes on top of, like, behind the name. Like, or behind the logo, would you say? Is that how, right?
Yeah, yep. Right on top of your channel.
It goes behind the logo. So Uber, he had a logo, but he didn't have a banner. And it was like 3 to 4 weeks that he was just trying to find this banner. And I kept messaging him, and I was like, dude, make your first video. He had just recently bought an Elgato right after I bought one. Do you remember that?
I do. I remember we went to Best Buy together to get your Elgato. And then I kept mulling it over. And then on my way home, because I drove down to LA, on my way home back to the Bay Area, I myself went to Best Buy and got one as well.
Yeah, you had the jealous bug going.
I did.
Yeah. So you had the Elgato, you had everything, but it was just getting you to make a video. I messaged him every single day, like twice a day sometimes. And I was like, Daniel, a banner's not going to get you subscribers. And I remember I just said that over and over again. And look at him now. I couldn't be more proud.
So Daniel, what was the big hang up? What kept you from making your first video?
So
very poor editing.
So the thing, And the thing, it's kind of like we talked about the gym membership and stuff.
Yes.
It's a little bit like that. The first day is going to be the hardest day to go to the gym, and then the second day might be a little tougher. The first week maybe is the hardest, right? And then after that, it becomes you get into a rhythm. It becomes a normal routine, and just to get over that hump of speaking into a microphone in front of a camera, that was a big thing for me.
Right.
You know, I know face cam is very popular on YouTube, and most people do want to see the face cam and stuff. And I had a problem. Like, I'm not big in speaking in front of big crowds, or even in school when I was in school, I was never really the guy that would stand in front of the class and read a paper. I just wasn't big on that. So that was a big hump to get over. And once I did, though, it becomes normal, and then you just do it, you know?
Yeah, once you commit, you're in it.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it takes a guy like Brett to push a guy like me to do it, you know? So
and
I owe him the world for that, for helping me do that and just being on my case constantly every single day. He didn't have to do that, you know. He didn't have to reach out to me. He could have just given up because he didn't have any personal interest in it, but he did, you know. He did, and at the same time, he did. He wanted to see me do what he's doing. So I'm forever grateful for that.
Yes, and the reason I did it, I wouldn't have just done it with anybody, but I could tell in like just driving around with Daniel and hanging out with him how bad. I feel like a lot of kids and people are in your same situation where they want it really badly. It's just getting like the push to start it. And like it's completely changed my life, YouTube. So I want, like, if somebody wants it too, I want to make sure that to help them get over the hump, because it's hard. It's easy to make excuses to not make a video. Oh, I'm busy. I have to do this. Like I need sleep. But like you kind of like a lot of times I have to sacrifice going to sleep sometimes. I get less sleep than I probably should because I'm not making videos, and you have to sacrifice certain things if you really want to be successful on YouTube. It's just kind of that kind of platform. And now seeing Daniel's channel soon going to hit 10,000 subscribers, it's super awesome. But that kind of segues us into the next thing. So Andy has never done YouTube before. Am I correct in saying that, Andy?
Absolutely correct.
But Andy went on Kijiji, the Canadian version of what do you guys call your thing, Daniel?
Our thing? Well, excuse me? It's a little personal.
That does seem personal, yes.
Yeah.
No, the equivalent of Kijiji. E-Trader?
What the heck is
No.
Kijiji?
So it's
sounds
basically it's a buy and sell website for all of Alberta.
Okay, so we would go Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Yes.
There we go.
It's
that's what I was looking for.
It's like a newspaper ad, but online type of deal, right? You can post classifieds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So Daniel went on Craigslist, found a 13-year-old kid, and he got all of his equipment. So now we need to come up with a name. And what did you come up with?
As of right now, my name is set at A-Dub. So my wife is not a big fan. I kind of like it. I thought it was pretty catchy, pretty memorable, but no, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, maybe
I thought a dud.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a low key diss there. I think maybe we should get the listeners involved. Maybe we should have them tweet at the Throwing Shade Pod on Twitter and see what kind of YouTube names we can come up with. Now, A-Dub stems from Andy, obviously his first name, and his last name starts with a W. So that's where the dub comes from.
Pretty clever. Pretty clever play on the name there from Mr. Daniel Basil.
You know,
very, very nice.
Very clever. So yeah, we want to get your guys' thoughts on Andy's name. That his channel's gonna be starting soon. But let's get into some actual sports talks. Are you guys prepared for this?
I think so.
This is the debate portion. Ooh. Because I have a feeling a few of us are going to disagree on a few of these points.
It's gonna get heated.
Okay, so Daniel, you're from you're not a Golden State fan. I know that for a fact.
Right.
Even though you're from that area.
From the Golden State.
Z Golden State. Yeah, I reside here. I've been residing here for a while now. Yep. Yep.
So what was it like when Durant chose to leave?
Euphoria would be a one.
Or no, not when he chose to leave. No, when he decided to come there is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When he decided to go to Golden State, was there a ton of excitement around? I assume there was.
There was. So it's kind of mixed. I've talked to all my friends are pretty much Warrior fans, and some of them older. They've been Warrior fans through all the dry years, the horrible years, and it was kind of mixed. There was. You either had euphoria on one side, or you had other people who have followed a bad team for so long, and finally they got good with their own draft picks. Steph Curry, Draymond, Clay, those were all their draft picks, so they're all homegrown talent. They were happy about that, and then when Durant chose to come to the Warriors, I almost looked at them as feeling guilty in a way, if that makes any sense. They felt like it didn't seem right. There was a few of my friends who kind of felt, I'm happy he's here, but it just feels wrong in a way. I don't know. So there's kind of mixed emotions, but all in all, pretty much excitement, right? Because everybody kind of knew what it meant, right. for the future.
Right. And what do you think of Durant's decision? Like, do you agree with his decision to leave OKC?
I'm not as hard on him as some people are. Personally, being the person that I am and having a bit of competitive nature in me, playing basketball and stuff. If I was in his shoes, and that's tough to kind of say, but if I was in his shoes, I probably wouldn't have gone that route because I'm too much of a competitor. If that's the team that just defeated me and my current team is trying to get me over that hump, I probably wouldn't just leave and join the enemy kind of thing. So I probably wouldn't have chosen that route. So I'm a bit against it. However, I do understand him doing it, and I'm okay with him doing it. I'm not the guy that's going to be out in the street burning his jersey and stuff like that. But all in all, I wouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah. See, the way I see it is like, I understand the move for him because, like, I think he felt a lot of pressure. Like, I think being on Golden State is kind of going to relax his career. Like, he doesn't have to score over 20 points a game anymore. Like, he can score 18 points and they still win. Like, I looked at a stat the other day. When Durant didn't score 20 points for OKC, their record was horrible. So I think he had that kind of constant pressure. I think there was a little bit of animosity between him and Westbrook. I've heard from a lot of sources that there was a lot of different styles. Westbrook likes to run his team kind of like a military thing, very, very serious, not a lot of fun. And Durant's kind of more of like just a more relaxed kind of guy. You can tell by the way he acts.
Right.
But are you guys aware that Durant recently got 2 tattoos of rappers on his legs?
No. Wow. No.
Yeah.
What rappers?
Like candy rappers?
I'm not 100% sure. No. I'm not 100% sure like exactly who it is, but a few radio announcers kind of think. But a few radio announcers think that he's in a weird place right now. There's rumors that they think he's in like kind of a different spot. A lot of people are hating on him because that couldn't be easy to lose all the people who were your big fans,
right?
And to just have them all hate you in the span of a couple days. But I think it was a good decision for him if they win a title. I don't think you can be mad at a guy for going to a team that he's going to win at when he has a decision and they're throwing money at him. Like, we've never been in that situation where people are throwing money at us, and it's like,
very true.
He can also win a title.
But if anyone wants to volunteer for that, let me know.
I'll be the
fetcher if anyone wants
of money.
Because if you want to be considered in the NBA like greats, they want you to have won a title. Like, now that's kind of just the way it goes.
However, here's the thing. He's always going to be lagging behind Steph, Clay, and Draymond. No matter what happens from here on out, he's going to have one championship less than those guys. And until last year, to me, he was on that same level as Steph, LeBron, the elite players. And now, 20 years from now, when we're going to look back, however many titles they win, if they win any, he's always going to have one less than Steph, right? If he stays with that team. So that there is that too. It kind of takes away from his legacy in a way, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a really
That's a good
interesting
point.
way to look at it. Yeah.
Because if he came back next year, like, and won with OKC, like, let's say he stays with OKC. OKC makes a couple moves, brings in a couple key guys, so they could compete. And they were competing last year. They don't have the greatest team other than those two. They were competing last year,
Right.
with Golden State.
They were up 3-1.
So, like, I would have liked to see that matchup again because I remember I watched that series, incredibly entertaining. But I think he was just kind of at the point where he was done with I think it's more of an organization thing than people think. Like, I don't think he loved being in OKC. Like, I really don't think he did.
Yeah, you might be
Just
right
needed
there.
a change.
Yeah, and I think it's less about, like, he hates Westbrook. And I think it was kind of cowardly when he kind of threw the team under the bus. Like, in a few interviews, he was talking kind of negatively about certain guys on the team and Westbrook and how they run things. So I wasn't a big fan of that. I think if you leave a team that has done so much for him in his career, that you kind of have to leave with respect and respect the guys that you
Show
played
a little
with.
bit of class.
Show a little bit of class. So, Andy, do you have anything to say about that topic? Or are
No,
you
I'm
to
good.
move on?
We can move on from here, guys.
Okay, so another NBA thing that I wanted to talk about, because we haven't even touched on it on the show yet. So Michael Jordan and LeBron James, they're obviously considered two of the greatest players ever. Do you think that LeBron is catching up to Michael Jordan, Daniel?
I do. I do.
I do too. I think people look at Jordan in a whole different light. Like, the thing is, I think social media has kind of caught... I'm sorry, I'm going to jump into my own point here. I kind of just stole your thunder.
No, that's fine.
I think the fact, like, with social media now and, like, the fact that we can connect with the players so incredibly easy, like, when Michael Jordan was playing, there wasn't that.
Right.
So you see one guy on TV, you watch one game. Michael Jordan was the man.
Yeah.
Like, he was the absolute man of that generation. Like, you didn't know. You didn't get to watch every single one of his games. You didn't get to see his stats weren't displayed all over the internet. It was just like he was Michael Jordan. And he had his brand, which is bigger than LeBron doesn't have, like, just like his own kind of brand like that. Like, he doesn't have what Michael Jordan has. So I don't think it's, in a way, I think LeBron is he's a better teammate. I'd say he's a better passer. He was more liked because Michael wasn't super liked in the locker room. I think a lot of his former players have complained and said that he wasn't the greatest guy to play with. But in terms of LeBron, like, LeBron's a great guy to play with. Everybody would say that because he's a good passer. He likes to get his team involved. But I think it's going to be tough for LeBron, even though he should be able to get into that category to pass him eventually. I don't think he ever will because it's like no one's going to pass Madonna or Elvis.
Right.
No one's going to ever be considered more famous than Elvis, even if they're better than him, because it's a different time period where we weren't so crazy about people like I think they were back in the day. I wasn't alive, obviously.
Back to what you're saying, kind of just about like the time difference and social media and everything now. How can you compare them almost, right? Like, obviously Michael Jordan was that dominant player when he played the game, and LeBron, same thing now. Like, he's an extremely dominant player, but he's a different player, and the game is completely different.
Right.
So
That's
how
the
do
thing.
you, it kind of takes you back to, or not back, but it takes you over to, you got Sidney Crosby, everyone's calling the best player the NHL's ever seen, but Wayne Gretzky has every single record the NHL's ever seen. So just different eras of the game and different styles of the game, and how do you compare? I mean, Michael Jordan's in Space Jam, so he's got that going for him. LeBron, I don't see LeBron in a Space Jam movie. Just saying.
I think that's pretty much all. That's all I need to say. I think that's pretty much.
No, that's
you summed it up with that Space Jam
that's
thing.
true. And let's not forget the Jordan era was the era where basketball and pop culture really collided, right? You had Nike booming, you had the Jordans come out, and so a lot of people my age and their kid passing on to their kids have really made Jordan this god. I mean, and he was incredible player. I mean, a 3-peat twice, and he probably could have won 8 straight if he never took his baseball hiatus. But he had a very good team. Let's not forget about Scottie Pippen on that team.
That's the thing.
And Dennis Rodman and all those guys. You could make an argument Kobe had a lesser team and won a bunch of titles with every single one of those teams was lesser than that. And LeBron as well. I think LeBron had a lesser team last year with the Cavs than Jordan ever did with the Bulls. Right. And him taking that team to the championship was unbelievable. So yeah, I'm with you, Brett, on that. I think LeBron is catching up. And he's right there. Like, he's right there. To me, he doesn't have to win 6 titles. You know, that's the Jordan apologists are all going to say, you look at the titles, and they're going to nitpick the records that Jordan holds that maybe LeBron didn't get. But then you look at the other stats. You look at the rebounding, the assist totals and stuff like that. LeBron is right there. Right there.
100% he is. But, like, people will never admit it because it's like, it's one of the coolest things about sports. We'll never get to see them. We'll never know who really is the better player.
Right.
Because they're from different generations. So we're going to talk about it. And people just assume Jordan because, like, they grew up like, Michael Jordan,
right.
Greatest ever. But
it's a brand too, right? It's a huge brand.
Tough pill to swallow for people to be like, yeah, there's someone better than Michael Jordan.
Right.
Because nobody wants to go out and say that because, like, for me, when you think basketball, you think Michael Jordan in the past. Like, is the greatest basketball player ever. And he's like, everyone just says that. So for him to pass him, like, LeBron wants to, but it's going to be tough. I think Dwayne Wade was saying that no matter what LeBron does, he'll never pass Michael Jordan. And he didn't say that in a rude way because they're really close, LeBron and Wade. He just said it in like, it's impossible to like do what Jordan did and get that same effect on people. But that was a good little chat we had there, guys. I don't really know what we came out of it with. I don't know. I think we kind of all agree that LeBron's pretty close to passing him, but I just don't think it will never be a consensus for a lot of people. So let's talk quickly about football today. On the last episode, Andy talked about how good Aaron Rodgers was.
We get to go into this.
Snap.
And my little Titans, who have been so average and below average for like my whole life, they come out today, and I as soon as the game started, I just looked in the mirror and I said, the Titans are going to win today.
Why'd you have to say that into the mirror?
I had that feeling.
That seems weird.
I don't know. I didn't actually do that. I don't know why I said that. But
all right.
But I said it. I didn't look in the mirror, but I said
better.
it. And I was Titans are going to beat the Packers today. Because you know what? All the cheeseheads, all the Packers fans came down to Tennessee, filled the whole place. It was like an away game for the Titans. And the Titans, like, they're at home and they're like, let's send a statement. And the Packers, they're not that good of a team. I'm just saying it right now. They're not that good of a team. And that's all I want to say. Unless you have any arguments.
I'm gonna agree with you. They're not that good of a team, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop cheering for them. And you hope that they come out of this. And the Titans, they were due. I mean, they had to have a big game, right? So
they're plenty due for a good season. They're more than due.
Exactly. And Green Bay, they've been really good at being average again. So, I mean, they're kind of like the Daniel Basil of the NFL right now. So we're gonna take that. I like Daniel. I'm a big fan of Daniel. So I'm good with that. And I don't appreciate you bringing up Aaron Rodgers being terrible. So
he's not terrible. He's not a good teammate. Go watch the games. Watch the way he interacts with his teammates. You cannot say he's a good teammate. Probably might be a nice guy off the field. But
hey, one thing quickly. On that game, did you guys see that Aaron Rodgers scamper into the end zone and that hit? What do you guys think about that? It was kind of a little mini brawl that kind of burst out. Did you guys see that at all?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw it. Mm-hmm. What I think of it, I don't know. What do you think?
So Rodgers, 20. He's at the 20-yard line, snaps out of the shotgun, and he kind of it's like a QB draw play, and he gets all the way into the end zone. Maybe 2 yards into the end zone, he kind of gets hit by who was it? Cox? That hit him?
I believe it's Fletcher. Not Fletcher.
Parrish Cox hit him. Now people were saying, that was dirty. In my opinion, it wasn't because it happens in real time. It's so fast. Right. And until he breaks the plank, you still have a chance to hit him and
crush
maybe
it, yeah.
jarred the ball loose, right? So to me, it was a good football play. There was no need for any animosity.
The way I was always taught as a quarterback, as soon as you pull that ball down and pass the line of scrimmage, you're a running back.
Right.
They can hit you, and they'd hit a running back like that.
Right.
If like, let's say James Stark goes into the end zone like that and they hit him,
nobody's
talking about it. It's just because they're a quarterback, and it's like, oh my gosh, the NFL sees. This brings me into a segment. They need guys like they protect them. They protect the Tom Brady's of the world and the Aaron Rodgers. Because they need them, because ratings are terrible on teams with bad quarterbacks. So if Tom Brady goes out, career-ending injury, their ratings will go down. It won't be completely significant, but there's a lot of football fans who watch just for the quarterback. Just to see Tom Brady.
People love watching the ball move, right? They love those big 40-yard passes, or even the quick moving up the field, like these 10-yard passes at a time. Mm-hmm. That's what people love to watch. They don't want to go and pay and see a running back run the ball 3 yards at a time every possession.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I think people complain a lot. They're like, let the linebackers crush the quarterbacks and like make it. But it's like, really, like, you need to understand the NFL. Like, we see it as a sport, but it's also a business. Yeah. Like, these guys are trying to make money. All sports are a business. Like, there's always an aspect of it that's. They don't want to lose these star guys. Like, the reason they're giving them millions and millions of dollars is so people come to the games, watch the games. And quarterback's the marquee position on a football team. You come to see the quarterback. You come to see lots of points. And if these guys are getting hurt, that's why there could be a fine. Like, there could be a fine on that Titans thing. I have no idea. But, like, if it's a running back, it's not going to happen. I think it should be fair, but in another sense, I see why the NFL wants to protect these guys.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely good reason for it. You have to kind of like I said, you have to look at the underside of all sports because they're going to do what's best to put money in their pockets because they're spending a lot of money for these stadiums. They need to make a lot of money. But I think that's good for the sports talks. You guys, so American restaurant. What's the restaurant, Daniel, that I really, really wanted to go to that we never? Chipotle.
Oh yeah, you got. In Canada, there is no Chipotle, huh?
No, there's no Chipotle. There's no Chipotle.
Interesting. Now, this may have been a good thing because they had a big, I think, E. coli outbreak a few months ago.
Yeah, that's what you want.
So the Chipotle stock is pretty down as of late.
That'll do
buy
it.
Low, sell high, boys. Buy low, sell high.
But
we should all go put all the money from this podcast is going to buy stocks.
$12 of it.
On Chipotle. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a good spot. That's a good spot, definitely. There's a lot of those kind of burrito bar type of places sprouting up here, especially in California, because it's a popular cuisine. Cuisine, is that the word?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
that's a killer word, man. You're killing it.
All right. Yeah, it's very popular. So
next time we hang out, Daniel, next time we're in person when I'm in California, I want to go to In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, yes.
There's so much hype about it.
Yes.
It's like the most hyped up place in the world. I have a feeling it's just going to be like pretty average with just like big proportions, but I got to go. I feel like not even as a Canadian, just as a member of the world, I need to experience
In-N-Out is amazing. Effect. Probably more amazing than Chipotle in my mind. And it's only a California thing. I think they have one in Nevada now, but it's pretty much limited to California. And the cool thing about In-N-Out, this is what I love, is the menu extremely simple. There's only like 6 items on the entire menu.
That's great.
So even a guy like me with like second grade, who reads at a second grade level can kind of follow along on the menu.
Okay, wait. Are there pictures as well?
There are no pictures. That would probably help it out a bit. Yeah, but it is in bold.
Right. Okay, so that's nice.
And it's pretty much hamburger, cheeseburger, double cheeseburger, and that's about it. French fries, shakes, and sodas. That's it. Now, there is a hidden menu or a secret menu, as people call it, for In-N-Out, which is amazing as well. So there are some variations, but pretty much the main ingredients all stay the same. And none of their patties are frozen ever. So it's very it is somewhat simple, but sometimes simplicity can be great, right?
Yeah.
That's sometimes what we get away from, that when we have all these like crazy, I don't know, French onion ranch gummy bear burgers at Jack in the Box. Like, maybe, you know what I mean? I love gummy bears. I love hamburgers. I just don't want any gummy bears on my hamburgers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So simplicity can be good
So
sometimes.
do you have a favorite restaurant down there, Daniel?
So In-N-Out is definitely up there. Most of my other restaurants, as far as chains, In-N-Out is up there. As far as other restaurants, it's pretty much mom and pop places. I love little hole-in-the-wall places that I find, and I try to find those places. Even when I travel, I kind of just hit the internet and try to find a mom and pop place for whatever I'm in the mood for, So I'll Google whatever sandwich shops, and there's plenty out here. There's plenty everywhere, right? So I pretty much kind of stay to the mom and pop joints out here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Brett, how about you? What do you have down there that you really enjoy?
So let's say, hypothetically, I have everything lined up. Every single restaurant lined up.
Ooh,
fast food.
Yeah.
I'm going to Safeway.
Ooh.
And
That's
you
a
might hear
grocery
that,
store,
and you might
Brett.
be shocked
That's
right
a
now.
grocery store.
That's a
You
curveball.
can't
I
just
know.
you can't just
You
eat at
might
a
be
grocery
shocked.
store. You have to pay for it first.
No, and let me explain.
It's frowned upon.
There is a sub place at Safeway.
Oh, yes, they do have a
There is
sandwich
a-
bar, yes.
And
Okay.
oh my gosh, I worked at a mall. I worked at probably the sketchiest mall in Alberta for a good chunk of time.
Yes.
Parkland Mall. Shout
Very
out to
nice
Parkland
Parkland Mall.
And they had a Safeway sub. They had a Safeway. And I remember the first time I went, it almost felt magical. Like I knew it was the beginning of
That
something
was it.
special.
That was it.
So-
That was the one.
I walked there. I ordered the sub. And I've gotten that same sub that I ordered on that first day at least probably 500 times. I used to go and they'd just start making my sub.
Wow.
They just knew.
Now, what's on
I
your
was on
perfect
that
sandwich?
level.
What's on
Let's
your
go
perfect
Let me
over this.
explain because I
Let's-
know
let's
the
get
viewers
into the meat and
wanna,
potatoes of
want to
this.
know this. So you gotta start off with a good sauce. I don't really like mayo and mustard separate. There's a combination that they have there. Shout out to Safeway for that. It's called mayo
weird.
mustard. You put a little mayo mustard
strange.
on
It's
both
original.
sides of the bun. You need to apply to both sides of the bun. If you do it to one, it's not gonna be enough taste.
Definitely.
And then you get sun-dried tomato turkey and Black Forest ham, provolone cheese, heated in a toaster. And then this is the most important part because a lot of people get it out of the toaster and they tell them, oh, it's okay, it's done. No, it's not done. You put on a few pickles and then you reapply the sauce
Oh,
one
very
more
nice.
time.
I like the
on
double
top.
sauce.
Because here's the thing that people don't understand about subs. If you put on the sauce before you heat it, the sauce kind of falls into the bread and it's not going to be as good. If you put it on right at the end, it's going to be there. It's perfect. It's one of the things I'm most excited to go home for Christmas about because they don't have a Safeway where I'm at right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Brett's segment on what my sub is.
That's-
You guys
where I
all
eat.
heard it
That's
here
interesting.
first. Go to Safeway for a sandwich.
heard it here
that
first.
sounds extremely below average.
What?
And use promo code TD when you get
At
there.
checkout. So what
For
about you,
10%
Andy?
off at checkout.
What are you into?
Uh,
what kind of cuisine do you like?
You know what?
Do you enjoy?
I am actually a very, very big fan of sushi.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's
exotic.
this little town that's about 10 minutes from Lacombe. It's called Blackfalds, and they have this they have a place called the Blackfalds Bar, and right next to it they've had about 6 different Chinese food places come in and out of there, and they just haven't worked, and now there's this family in there that makes sushi. And I don't think I've ever had better sushi in my life. But like
Wow.
it is just phenomenal. They make like this, it's like a chipotle mayo sauce that you can put on it, and
Oh, that's the best sauce in the
Yes.
world. Best sauce in
man.
the world, Chipotle.
Now
mayo.
that's the thing on the sushi. Like I like the rolls that they prepare that have like a little bit of exotic kick to it, right? Like some sauce or some kind of wasabi or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
I don't like just the fish and the rice and the seaweed. Like give me some flair,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. I'm not a very picky person. I don't think I've ever eaten something that I haven't liked, but like sushi, we even like with my wife's family actually every Christmas we have a party, and we go over there and we make sushi for the afternoon, and we cut it up, and like it's pretty great. So that's nice. Got to be my favorite around here, anyways.
Very good.
Right on. Well, I think that's a flaming segment that we need. I love that.
That was exciting stuff, guys. That was good.
Food for thought.
That is 100% some food for thought. Now, to end the episode, we're gonna end this with Daniel's Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Day. And what is that, Daniel? What is your lock of the day?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm not prepared. Let me never trust a fart for once. That's my first Stone Cold lock of the day. Are we talking sports picks here?
Lock?
Never trust a fart is one. Right. Are we talking sports picks here?
Sports picks or anything. You said one earlier, and I thought you were going to use it. It's that Andy Williams will have 2 subscribers by tomorrow.
Oh, yes. That is the absolute Stone Cold lead pipe. Lock it in your vault. Take it to your local sports book and put some money down on that. Andy will have 2 subs.
By next Wednesday, Andy will have 2 subs. That is the lock of the day.
That's pretty exciting,
absolutely.
Guys.
Also, never trust a fart.
Also, never trust. There it is.
I want to stress that, guys, because I know we've all been there. It's just don't do it.
All right, don't do it. Anything else you guys want to talk about in today's episode? Any other topics you want to touch on?
Nope. I just guys, listeners, if you do have any ideas for my channel for names, like Daniel said, just tweet them to the Throwing Shade Twitter account. And we'll see what we can do with that.
Absolutely, and that is what's the Twitter handle we got here? At Throwing Shade Pod, I believe, right? Or Throw Shade Pod.
Yep.
At Throw Shade Pod.
Throw Shade Pod.
Yep. Pretty easy to remember. So tweet out your names for Andy's channel. We're definitely gonna get that going this week. No excuses.
No
A-Dub.
No excuses.
No excuses. Don't become the UberYouTuber of.
Right.
About a year and a half ago.
Right.
That I had to deal with. Because I'm not dealing with 2 of those. I can only handle 1 of those in my lifetime.
That's fair. So you're saying I'm not going to get the same push that Mr. UberYouTuber got?
I don't know if you'll need it. You sound pretty motivated.
Absolutely.
But it's always motivating until you get on iMovie and you start editing.
Yeah.
And you realize
this is horrible.
But you know what? You got us here to help you, so it'll help.
Sounds great.
Okay, well, perfect. That concludes this week's podcast. Kind of all over the map. Just talked about different things. We'll be back again on Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.